Alright, this video is totally unscripted because I'm really not feeling like making a script for it, because that would take too much effort and too much time. So if it made any sense, you're seeing this video now. Alright, so now it's time for the video that everyone's been waiting for. It's time for macOS versus Windows. So I'm just going to list these things out in order of how I think about them. So I'm going to start with the good things about macOS that are better than Windows. First of all, the fluidity and snappiness of the OS. Snappiness is the word? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so Microsoft a couple years ago introduced their Fluent design, which was a new modern design designed to make all of Windows 10 more consistent. But here's the thing, they haven't actually done that yet. It's still very disjointed. So in apps like the Mail app, the Settings app, the Calendar app, Fluent design has been implemented, and in my opinion, it looks better than macOS. But here's the thing, macOS has their design language implemented across the entire OS. So it looks very consistent and very unified. So it gets points in that category. Similar to that, the fluidity of the operating system. macOS has had their trackpad gestures for over a decade now, and they've been perfected. They are smooth, they just work, versus Windows, where the animations lag a lot and just aren't very well thought out. Take, for example, the mission control and switching desktops. On both operating systems, 3 fingers up goes into mission control or task view, and 3 fingers swipe to side moves you between desktops. But if you look at this, on macOS, it responds immediately. You swipe up, it goes to mission control. You swipe left or right, it goes between desktops. But now let's look at Windows. Now you swipe up, it lags a little bit, the animation kind of jerks around, and then you can go into your task view. But you swipe left and right, and the animation just completely falls apart. It clearly was not thought out whatsoever. So again, macOS wins in that. Windows does have some trackpad shortcuts that I prefer, like the 4 fingers up and down to control your volume and left and right to control your media, and also 3 fingers down to go to the desktop. But I think overall macOS is the winner here. Another thing is, I like some of the macOS keyboard shortcuts better, like Command Q. It's much easier to access with one hand versus Windows, where especially if you're on a laptop which has function keys, you have to press Fn Alt F4 to close the app, which suddenly becomes a very difficult command to do. Other than that though, I think Windows does the keyboard shortcuts better overall. Another thing to note is that if you're an iPhone user, the sync between macOS and iOS is really good. But for me, I use Google services for almost everything. So that's Gmail, Google Drive, all of that jazz. And all my folders and files are stored on Google Drive. So I don't really make much use of AirDrop and all those things that make the connection special. All my programs are cross-platform, so it works on Windows, macOS, and iOS. I also use WhatsApp for almost all my messaging, so that connection wasn't very useful either. One very useful thing though that I really have come to appreciate is being able to take a call on your MacBook. So if you get a call, that call will obviously show up on your iPhone, but then it'll also show up on your MacBook. So you can just answer the call from there and use whatever headphones are connected to there. Very convenient if you're using AirPods and you don't want to switch between the Bluetooth on the 2 devices, which often makes me miss a call. Very useful. Also, AirPods do work better with macOS than they do on Windows, because you can do the autoplay pause thing, you can see your battery, all that jazz. But for me, it wasn't a huge advantage. Hi, One final thing that macOS does better than Windows is notifications. More specifically, they actually work. On macOS, if I get a WhatsApp notification, I can do a quick reply, I can mark it as read, I can click on it and open it. And on Windows, not the case. I click on it, nothing happens. I let it go and it doesn't even show up in the notification center. My notifications for emails also show up more regularly versus on Windows where they just don't. It's just a much more seamless experience, much like all of macOS. Okay, that's about all the things that are better about macOS versus Windows. Now let's go to the things that really pissed me off about macOS. First of all, and this might seem like a minor complaint to some, there's no delete key. Okay, I said it. Also, the Finder really just seems not very well thought out. Here's an example. Command X is not cut. Why? I have to drag and drop between two Finder windows, which makes it so much more complicated than just going to a folder, pressing Command X, going to another folder and just pressing Command V, and just doing that, like on Windows, where you can press Control X and then go into your folder and press Control V, and it transfers them. Or if you want to, you can do the drag and drop, and you have both options. I don't know what backass thought went into that, but that's how it is. And second of all, you also don't get as much information at a glance in the Finder as you do on Windows Explorer. For example, file size. Excuse me. You also, for some reason, have to double click on a file to open it instead of pressing enter, because enter is rename. Because people obviously rename their files more than they open them. Duh. Seems like also kind of backass to me, but that's just how it is. It really pisses me off. The second thing that really irks me about macOS is the multitasking. Yes, I did say before that everything seems to be more fluid, except for this. To enter multitasking or split view on macOS, you have to hold down the full screen button and press tile to each side, or you can do it from the mission control and just drag an app together with another app in full screen. But you can only have, first of all, 2 apps open at the same time, unlike Windows where you can have 4. And if you want to open another app on top of your split screen, you just can't do that. It's not a possibility. So if I have 2 windows of Chrome open, and then I want to use Finder to look at a file, not gonna happen. You just can't do that. Also, not all apps support split screen, such as Premiere. Versus on Windows, where you can just drag whatever app you want to the side of each screen, and you can have up to 4 windows in a tiled view, and you can resize them at your whim, and then you can have as many as you want on top of that, and it's so much more seamless. But again, there are things that are better about macOS and there are things that are better about Windows. After watching this video, you have to decide for yourself which of these trade-offs you're willing to make. They're both great, and I was able to be productive on both, and they both have things that are just really annoying, like the design of Windows and the Finder and all the things I talked about on macOS. So, that's my conclusion. They're both good, they both have problems. That's it. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. As always, you're watching Aaron, the Tech Guy.